Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to take a look at Keiss. We're going to do a character guide, look at his artifacts and his spheres. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Keiss, basically he is a launch specialist. So if you like launching, Keiss basically will enable your entire team to launch. So he's very powerful that way. It depends on your box, though. If you already have a character like Sid Reigns, you might not need Keiss, but we'll look at Keiss here. He does do a lot of launch damage, and it can be really useful in, say, like a Shinryu fight where you need to deal a lot of damage more quickly, right? So let's go ahead and look at his artifacts first. So for artifacts, you for sure want this Informed Selkie boost, and then you either want to pair that with Attack 108 or Max Brave 330. Now, Keiss does do a lot of battery, and his battery does scale on Max Brave, so Max Brave might be the better pick. I just don't have those farmed right now, but Attack, if you would rather have a little bit more attack, I think either one is fine. But he does do battery that scales on Max Brave, so keep that in mind. But you for sure want the Informed Selkie boost, and then, once again, Attack 108 or Max Brave there. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the spheres. A slot, you could go range damage, you could go attack, you could go brave damage, whatever. I think his own is pretty good for him for a couple of reasons. One is it's a really fat attack buff, and it's only when you launch, and it's a more secluded sphere. Like, not many characters can use that. So I like utilizing them on a character that can really use it, right? So, like, sure, I could do, like, Kane's range attack sphere here, which would be really good, but there are way more characters that can use that. This Keiss sphere would just sit there pretty unused unless I gave it to, like, a really good launch character. So I feel like putting his own on him is pretty optimal there. The D slot, with Keiss, normally in the D and E slots, you're focusing mainly on raising attack, but also raising Max Brave is good because it's going to help his battery out. So either of those is fine. So Hope is really good because I believe Hope does attack and Max Brave. Ash is decent because she also does attack. Saz is pretty good. That's just a straight up party attack as well. So any of those I think are fine. I just put Saz on there because that's what I had. And then in the E slot, once again, you could go Max Brave or attack. Quistis and Eldnarsh would be like Max Brave ones if you want those. I actually don't have any of those right now, so I just put Emperor on there, which is just a basic attack one. If you wanted to have more utility and give him a debuff that he doesn't already have, you could do that as well. But yeah, that's kind of my build for Keiss there on the spheres. Let's go ahead and hop into the showcase here. We are going to hop in on the Shinryu fight. Just something as a side note, if you're bringing Keiss or you're bringing a launch comp, I highly recommend you bring Pandemonium with. Pandemonium is going to increase your launch damage, so usually if I'm bringing launch comps, I want Pandemonium with me. So we're going to go ahead and hop in. Now there'll be a little bit of redundancy because Kain also does launching, but like Penelo normally doesn't, so there's kind of a few things that'll come out of this with Keiss. So usually with Keiss, and he's starting right off here for us. Usually I like to open with LD with Keiss. His AA is quite significant because it gives stats, but it increases his uses of hero support. You can see hero support only has 5 uses. Hero support is like what makes Keiss really good. So you want to make sure you're maintaining that and like understanding the hero support, which I'll explain in this video. But don't use the AA until you've used at least one hero support. Otherwise, you're wasting a skill use of it, and you don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and pop the LD here. The LD here is going to do pretty decent damage. It does some battery on it, right? But the main thing it does is it puts a Brave Leak debuff on the enemies. So you can see they have Brave Leak now. So what that Brave Leak is going to do, it's going to do like a sap on the enemy. But then after launching, it's going to battery the party. So it's going to help the party do more damage from launching. Okay, so let's go ahead and have Kain. Kain, sure, let's go ahead and just pop the burst effect here. Why not? Let that go through. But then with Keiss, basically what you're doing, so he's got a 15 attack called Selkie Throw. That's pretty much just like a filler attack, and you're just using it to maintain some generic buffs that come from it. But other than that, Selkie Throw isn't like too important. Let's go ahead and just do a couple things here. Sure, let's just get a couple of these buffs going here. Perfect. Charge the force gauge, right? And then let's go ahead and let's just do this. Sure. Alright, so we've got Keiss up again. So now let's kind of show how the launching works here. So the way that this works is he also gets a special like HP attack from the LD. It's a decent little attack, but it's, yeah, you can use it when you want to, but for the most part, just, you could use that also as like a filler attack. It's not like the most crazy important attack out there, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use hero support. So the way hero support works is you target an ally. So this is like the most important thing about his kit. So what happens is let's say I target Kane. What's going to happen is Keiss is going to place himself right after that ally, and then that ally is going to get an 8-turn buff that's going to allow them to always initiate a launch while that buff is up, and also that ally can't be broken while that buff is up, which is pretty good. So let's pick Kane here. You'll notice that he will shove right behind Kane. And so the reason why he does that is because he knows that character is going to launch, and then Keiss does something really cool and unique during the launch that we're going to see here. So let's have Kane just go ahead and launch here. So let's go ahead and do this. So Kane's going to do this. He got guaranteed launch because of Keiss. Now watch this. We get the Selkie Chase HP. It's going to do a huge battery, and then we're going to attack through. So between Pandemonium and the huge battery, we can do a lot of damage during the launch. And now Kane, since he's got that hero support on, or it's called smash support, I guess, he's basically got that for 7 turns, right? So now what I could do is let's put hero support on Penelo, and we can give that power to Penelo as well. And then Penelo will also have that buff. So now they've both got the hero support buff. So now Penelo could go ahead and launch. So Penelo here, let's maybe do this big attack here. She's going to initiate a launch, and now because Keiss is right behind, Keiss is going to battery the party during the launch as well. So we can do that. So this is very good for especially Kane's force gauge as well. I actually did a full synergy run with this team on the Shinryu and was able to beat it. So Keiss definitely is good enough to get it done. And my Keiss, I don't even remember if my Keiss had Lufenia armor. So like he's not like super optimized. He's got his full kit. So let's go ahead and look at the EX now. So the EX is definitely a good button to press. Basically, it's going to extend all of his buffs by 2 turns, and it's going to delay the enemy's 2 turns, and then he gets another buff from it that you want to maintain. So let's go ahead and use Sky High. This is a good button to press. It does very good damage, and it does a nice little delay. The other thing with the delay, it's going to push the enemies back and then help us launch more as well. We weren't able to push behind Penelo, unfortunately, but sometimes what will happen is you'll delay, it'll push them behind your third party member, and then it adds an extra character to the launch. So that's really good. But now, basically, my whole team is just launching nonstop because they have those buffs up. So that's literally all that Keiss is he just allows you to go crazy and do all this. So let's go ahead and maybe do this. We'll have some fun here. Get some more launchies off. Let's maybe get Kane up in the air and let him have a little bit of fun up in the air. Okay, so let's launch Kane up. The other thing you can do now is you can incorporate in with the summon, right? So now you can see the enemies have a bunch of turns. I'm going to launch right here, but I'm not going to get much out of it. Well, let's pop the summon. Okay, and then we can use this aerial dive HP attack that came from the LD, so you guys can see that. It does a nice little battery with it. Little chunk attack there, and then we're getting the launch. Now, the thing that makes Keiss pretty good is these launches, if you set it all up right and you have proper battery, like during force time, you can get some pretty crazy damage off. So maybe what we'll do is we'll kind of look at that a little bit. Maybe let's get a force time and see if we can do some crazy damage. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to do this because I don't want to use up my free turns during the launch here. Actually, I might. During the summon, I mean. I might. The problem here is, like, Penelo, it'd be nice to have hero support on, but I'm going to burn out that buff here going through all my regen multis. Let's see what she's got here. So, yeah, she's got smash support at 6. Let's go ahead and so here's where, like, for example, I could use the AA. And the AA now would give me another use of hero support back. So even though hero support starts at 5, it actually have 8 uses of it as long as you use that AA properly. Then you can get that going, right? So what I'm going to do here is, well, we can use Selkie Throw just so you can see it. So this is kind of the filler attack. It does have a buff attached to it so that you might want to maintain that. But for the most part, you're pretty much pressing other buttons and then you use that as filler or that aerial HP attack plus. Okay. Alright, so Penelo here, I think... Oh, actually, I only have to do 1 to charge the gauge. So, and she still has smash support, right? Yeah, okay, this is good. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to do one of these. Yep, and then we've got Force Gauge. So yeah, let's do Keiss during Force Time and see what happens here. Let's go ahead and we will just attack to pass the turn. Getting the launch. We're launching like crazy. Okay. Let that go. We'll let Kane drop down. We'll do Force Time and we'll check out launches during Force Time here. Now, we're going to use Penelo to kind of buff it up a little bit. So what we're going to do here is we need to do this again. Get Kane up in the air. I mean, even like non-Force Time, I mean, we're usually averaging a mil, like around a mil. That was 1.5 mil on the launch, right? So as long as you have good battery going and like your party's like really high on Brave, like, and that's why Keiss is good because he batteries during the launch. That's a very unique mechanic that he has, right? Okay, so I've got double jump ready. So let's go ahead and do the Force Time. We're going to launch on this attack as well. Just launching for days. Yep. And yep. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll get Kane up in the air again. We're going to let Penelo like charge up the HP damage bonus pretty high. And then we're going to check out like what some of the launches are doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and we will get up in the air. And then once again, all these follow-ups are going to increase the force gauge. Now because Keiss is helping us launch a lot, that's going to help with the force gauge. Actually, what I want to do is I'm going to sky high here and delay them. I think I do want to do that. Sure, let's do that. Actually, yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. Let's delay him back a little bit. We're not going to get a full launch. Kane won't be a part of it because he's pushed way back there, but that's fine. But yeah, that was almost a mil just on a two-person launch, right? So if we can get them pushed back behind Kane, Kane's way back there, though. So Kane's going to be missing out on these launches, unfortunately. Okay. I guess I could have brought like a mid-Italian. That probably would have been good because then I could have just deleted their turns out. But that's fine. So now what I'm going to do is let's just start buffing up the gauge. Now, unfortunately, they're not going to launch on these because they're not going to launch off of... Because Penelo isn't actually attacking. But this is so much more important for getting our HP damage bonus up. So we want to do that. And let me see if she still has hero support. Because she might be extending the buffs. Let's see. Hero... Yeah, it's only at 2. So it's going to run out. That's fine. I just want to get this HP damage bonus up really high. And then we can get Keiss going. I like to get it up to like 400% if I can. Okay, so let's go up to there. That's good. That should be about 400%. Alright, and then we'll start doing some attacks here. Okay, yeah, the enemies lost their launch ability, though. So that's because I let that smash support run out. That's fine. Oh, shoot. I'm taking up extra turns with Penelo. That's fine. Sure. I mean, we're still doing, like, a ton of damage, right? It's crazy. A mil AoE there. Alright, so let's go ahead and just attack through so we can get Keiss a turn. We should still get a couple of launches during Force Time here, which is fine. Or at least one. Yeah, we'll get one launch here. Alright, so we're going to hero support. I guess we're going to hero support on Penelo. Because Penelo comes up next. But then we should get, like, at least one big fat full launch here. So that's good. We can at least see... Like, this is with a 400+% multiplier. We're going to see how much we can do on this big fat launch here. The enemies are going to get a turn. Hopefully they don't do anything crazy to me here. I don't think they will. Yeah, the enemies taking turns is actually helping my gauge. So I'll take that. Alright, and then Penelo should have launch ability now. Perfect. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use Evanescence. This is going to do a lot of damage. Let's see how much damage this does. This is worth it for the showcase. A big fat launch here. Let's see what we get from this launch. This should be a lot. Okay, and then, let's see. That was 600k just on that swing. And then what do we got here? A mil on that swing. 3.8 mil on the launch. So yeah, pretty good with Force Time built up. So anyways, guys, there you go. That's pretty much how Keiss works. Hope this guide helps you all out. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.